In this video, I'm going to be sharing some of the cooking I've been doing with my Cosori air fryer toaster oven. So let's get started. When I first started making toast, I was using the level 3 setting, but when there was still 1 minute left on the clock, the toast was already starting to brown, so I would always have to cancel it. So now I find that I cook it on level 2 and it comes out into a perfect shade. And you can fit 6 slices of bagels in the toaster oven, and using the bagel setting, I use it on level 3, and this cooks the bagel perfect. So you can see here, it's a nice shade, it's not overcooked. Using the air fry function, I made some potato wedges, coating them in a little bit of olive oil first and salt and pepper. Set the timer to 30 minutes on 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Once it's preheated, pop it in the oven and press start. "30 minutes later and the wedges are nice and crispy. I've also air fried some chicken wings using the air fry preset function, which was for 25 minutes on 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and they came out wonderful. I used no oil since the chicken wings would cook in their own juices. But when I tried to cook chicken nuggets and french fries using the preset air function setting, they were browning very fast and there was still 10 minutes left on the timer. So I stopped it and I took it out, and you can see that it's done really well. So I tested one of them to see if it was cooked all the way through, and you can see that it's perfect. The fork cut right through it, and it's nice and crispy. I cooked bread using the bake setting, which was 350 degrees for 30 minutes. But after 10 minutes, you can see the top is starting to burn. So I had to take it out and I covered it with foil to stop it from burning. And then I popped it back in the oven, and then it cooked really well. So here you can see the bread is nicely cooked underneath and on the sides. And luckily the top didn't burn. And if I show you the slices, you can see how nice and soft the bread is. So right after that, I popped in some hamburger buns, and this time I left it on the bake setting, but I switched on the convection fan so that it would cook the whole thing evenly, and it cooked the hamburger buns really nice and even. I didn't have to cover it. And you can see if I slice through it, it's nice and soft. The first time I used the pizza function, I used the preset time, which was 450 degrees for 15 minutes. But with 5 minutes still left on the timer, I could see that the pizza was already starting to brown and it was going to burn if I hadn't taken it out. So you can see, especially underneath, it's a little bit too overcooked for my liking. But it was cooked throughout, especially with it being a thick pizza. The second time I made pizza, I didn't preheat the oven for very long, only a minute or two, and I cooked it for the full 15 minutes and it came out much nicer and it cooked evenly. Using the roast function, I roasted some chicken pieces for 20 minutes on 400 degrees first. And when that was done, then I set it for another 20 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And the chicken looked great, so I took it out once the timer was done, and I had some parboiled vegetables ready to go in next, and I put them in for 10 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. But taking a closer look at the chicken, the underside wasn't crispy because the foil was blocking the heat. So I popped it back into the oven with the potatoes. I took out the Brussels sprouts and the carrots, and I put it in the oven for another 10 minutes, and then it came out perfect. And if you are new to my channel, do consider subscribing. I bring out videos every week. And don't forget to give this video a like. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I try my best to answer every one of them. The very first rotisserie chicken I made, which I showed in my previous video, I'll leave a link in the description below if you guys want to watch that. The chicken was so tender and juicy, but it had made a lot of mess in the oven. So the second time I made it, I made sure my chicken was nicely trussed with all the legs and wings tightly tied together. And I popped it in the oven, and there wasn't as much of a mess inside the oven. There was no leakage out of the glass door. And when I took it out of the oven, it looked great. It was nice and crispy. But unfortunately, because I had tied it so tightly around the wings and the legs, those areas didn't cook as nicely, and they didn't even crisp at all. So next time I have to make sure not to tie it too tight, but tie it enough so that it doesn't make too much of a mess. I used the dehydrating function to make some beef jerky, just marinated in some soy sauce with some salt and pepper. Set the timer to 1.5 hours and on 165 degrees Fahrenheit. For firmer jerky, you would need to cook it longer, for 2.5 hours. I should have cut the pieces slightly thinner, but overall it came out really great. Unfortunately, I don't have any after pictures because my phone ran out of space. Alright guys, I hope you found this video useful. I hope to catch you in my next one.